we're live.
Oh, no. You made him blink.
We're live. Oh yeah, it was me that made him blink. Look, he doesn't get nearly as blinky as long as he's not looking at the screen. See, as soon as he starts looking at the screen, as soon as he starts looking at the screen, he goes into overblink mode.
Oh, it's gone really blinky today.
Is it possible to sprain your eyelids? Is that a possibility?
To what?
Sprain your eyelids?
Sprain them? I don't know. I don't think so.
They're just like stuck over. You're like, why is your eyeballs so bulgy? They sprained them. All right, let's
Is there an Olympic blinking team?
Maybe there's a Guinness Book of World Records that we can enter Leander for. He doesn't even have to do any work. We'll just submit one of these videos as evidence of fastest blinking man. All right, let's see here. Let me send the tweet here, Lewis, because
oh, that's right.
I mean, I've had a lot of doozies in my day, but this is gonna get them in.
It's been so exciting, such an exciting week. I totally forgot about the tweet.
Oh man, it has been an exciting week. I gotta say that event was unexpectedly fantastic. Just. It hit all the right notes, and the Mac Studio. Well, let's just say I had to see a plastic surgeon for my nip issues the day after. We're talking about some reconstruction surgery. We got Hans W. He says hello again from Australia. We got Hans from Australia. We got the tweet going out. Let's wait for some people to pile in here. Look, I know Adam Broussard's going to show up here any minute, and then once he's here, we can get this show rolling. We got a lot of stuff to talk about this week, my dudes. As you all know, I don't even know if we're going to make it through all these topics because there's a lot of hardware to talk about. There's a lot of topics to get through. Oh my goodness! And I need to know if anyone spent any big bucks this week because I know I did. We got Keith Long. He's in Dublin in the house. R.I.P. Mac Pro. Yeah, dude, that thing's done. But until they release the next Mac Pro. It's not going to be long. March, April, May, June. June is when they're going to release the next Mac Pro. And it's going to be, if you thought the Mac or the M1 Ultra was impressive, what are they going to call it? Because it's going to be a four-way. Maybe that's what they'll call it, the M1 Ultra four-way. I kind of feel like the Ultra name is weird because Max already implies that it's the Max. That you can't go any higher than Max, right? So they should have gone M1 Pro, M1 Ultra, and then M1. Anyway.
But the next one's going to be Ultra Max.
Yeah, I was going to say Ultra Max.
You know what?
Yeah.
You actually might be right. You actually might be right. Ultra Max.
Ultra Max Pro.
The Ultra Max Pro. There it is. We got 86 Seabass. He says, hi from Canada. We got Pablo Ortiz. Good day from Oz. We got Sammy who says, namaste. Ulysses Martinez says, hey. Nicholas just says lol. Hans Dub, M1 Nuclear. That's not bad. M1 Extreme. Is Extreme more than Ultra? I don't know. Extreme Max, maybe?
Extreme is for Mountain Dew.
The Ultra Max Pro. Well, if they use Extreme, they're going to get sued. All right. Well, we got enough people here. Let's queue up Mrs. You Know Who, and we'll get this show rolling because we got so much stuff to talk about, and it's going to be an exciting show. So let me go, Mrs. D. Hey, Mrs. D. Did you hear about the new Mac Studio display? Oh, I did. I'd like to get that little LK back to my studio and Mac on him. Oh, goodness gracious. She wants to Mac on you back at her studio. She's getting so forward. I don't know what's going on with you two. Are you guys chatting in Slack? Because it feels like there's something that I don't know about here. Okay. Let's see here. Well, if you don't mind, Mrs. D, let's get this music going. Warm up your larynx here. And we'll get the show rolling in 3. Hello, and welcome to the CultCast, the best 30-plus minute Apple conversation you're going to hear all week long. I'm your host, Airfront Elijah. Join me today. I lost my notes. Join me today. It took 2 paddle charges and a full adrenaline needle right to the heart to resuscitate him after Apple announced the new Mac Studio and Studio Display. He went into the full astonishing loop. Astonishing. And we almost lost him. He's the founder of CultMac. Jada Katie's here. Also with us, he's been spraying the CultMac writing cage with a garden hose every 60 minutes to keep the writers awake and cranking out those stories. There's been some good ones, too. He's the managing editor of CultMac. Lewis Wallace is here.
Wow. What a week.
Oh,
What
good.
a
You
week.
you cleaned up all the blood stains and stuff from your clothes and your face. That's nice.
So we have the drain in the center of the floor.
In the Cultback writing cage.
Yeah.
Look, I know that things get hectic in there when we have an event like this, and you got to keep people well motivated. You know, got to do what you got to do. My friends, we have a lot to talk about, and I want to know who is who had to sell some plasma this week to afford some of the Apple hardware that just came out. Man, what an event! What an event! I'll just say this to start: the Mac Studio is the computer I've been asking for years. It's the computer I've been asking for. I can't find a single thing about it that I don't love. And we got a lot to talk about. Now the Mac, the Studio Display on the other hand, that's a different story. That's a different story. We got some stuff to say about that. Before we dive into all the fun, let me give a quick thank you to Squarespace for supporting this episode. Squarespace.com/CultCast. Squarespace has everything you need to sell everything. And if you've ever thought about starting your own e-commerce site, you know how difficult it can be. And it's really expensive to design and build. And the great thing about the Squarespace site is you can have it up in moments. You can use it to promote your business, to sell products, to sell your own services. Maybe you're going to teach classes or something. You can have people book your time. It's got everything that you need to make money online. And that's one of the reasons why I use it. It's easy to build, and it's easy to maintain. It hooks into all these other services that are online that will help you run your business, which I use several, and it just makes running your business so easy. I barely have to touch my website. I have cloth.co, as many of you know, and the orders just roll in. I have everything automated, so it just takes very little of my time, which is how I like it. You just want to have those checks rolling in without having to do very much work. And that's what the Squarespace website allows you to do. It's beautiful. It looks great on any device that visits. And you can customize the heck out of anything. I mean, if you want to go in there and really dial everything in so the website looks uniquely yours, it's easy to do. You can do it yourself. Just play around with it. And I recommend if you're ready to get started with a website, head on over to squarespace.com/cultcast. And for a limited time, usually if you use code CultCast at checkout, you can get 10% off your purchase. But you can use, let me see if this will work with squarespace.com/cultcast. Yeah. So you can get 20% off your Squarespace website or your first purchase with code MAR20WB, MAR20WB. And it expires March 11th. So if you've been waiting to do this is one of the best deals that I've seen. It's a huge discount.
It expires the day the podcast comes out. Nice.
No, the podcast comes out today. Expires tomorrow.
You better get on it.
You better get on it quick.
Better listen to it. Better listen to this podcast immediately, and then start pressing buttons.
Yeah, if you're listening in the future, you should have listened in the past. So there's nothing we can do for you. But squarespace.com/cultcast and use code MAR20WB for 20% off. That's a great price. Thank you to Squarespace for supporting this episode. All right, first question. Did anyone spend big bucks yesterday? Anyone drop some thousands?
I did, yeah.
Really?
You did buy something
Wow.
later. What did you get?
The Studio and the display.
Oh, you got
Wow.
them. You couldn't resist. I'm actually surprised.
It's
I didn't think that you were going to do it.
It's gonna, we got to review these things for the site, and plus, that I've been waiting forever for a 27-inch iMac to replace this one I have here, the 2014 iMac.
Yeah.
And it became kind of obvious that there is going to be no 27-inch iMac, I don't think, from what they were saying. So.
Oh, you mean like
I don't
an
think it's
iMac
gonna
Pro?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be coming. Maybe it is, but if it's probably going to be too much for me anyway. So I went for the low end Studio.
Okay, the Max.
The Max, the one with I didn't get the Ultra chip. That had already been pushed back to, 2025 by the time I got to to ordering it. So this one, I don't even know if this is going to come on the 18th. I think when it's supposed to come, I think it's going to be delayed a few days after that because it's so popular. But yeah, the low end one.
Leader, I don't know if you have anything running in the background. Your internet is like really being weird. Like your video keeps freezing. So if you have anything going, We can hear your audio just fine, but it seems like your video keeps freezing. Actually, it seems like it's normal again. So I don't know if something was just going on temporarily. But if you have any tabs going in the background, just close all those out.
250.
Yeah. So this is good because you got the Max, I got the Ultra, and I'll tell you which one I got and why I got the one that I got, because it was actually a really tricky decision because there's so many options, and the $4,000 base Mac Studio is not the spec'd out one. You have to spend another $1,000 if you want to go from the 24 core or from the 48 core GPU to the 64 core GPUs, which I don't think is worth it at all. But we can talk about all that. I think we should start with the most exciting news of the entire event. Right?
Oh man, that's me.
Liz?
That's me. Green iPhones. We got green iPhones.
Well, that's all we have for you guys this week. Whoops. You know what? I actually was excited about this, Lewis, even though I'm not getting one.
You know, I mean, I was a little halfway excited. Although I gotta say, the video that they showed with the weird like Venus flytraps and praying mantises and stuff. I mean, whoa, what's going on here? You know, Tim Cook was like, oh, two gorgeous new finishes. The iPhone 13 looks stunning in this bold new green with its precision milled back glass and color matched aluminum edges. And iPhone 13 Pro in a sophisticated new alpine green joins the most pro lineup we've ever created.
I actually really like these greens, although I like the green on the iPhone 13 much more than I like it on the iPhone 13 Pro. The iPhone 13 Pro reminds me of the iPhone 11. It's almost that same weird light moss color.
Yeah, I mean, it's always hard to tell with these things, right? Because what you see on the screen is never what it looks like in your hand. Yeah. And in fact, I mean, oddly enough, I wrote a rant about the iPhone 13 Pro colors just the day before this, right? Because it's, the Sierra Blue. I mean, it's just not very exciting.
It's not exciting at all.
The weirdest thing though about it is if you take it outside, it looks cool. Yeah. You take it inside, it looks like a piece of putty. And I bet you that green is the same thing. I bet you take that outside in the right light, it's going to sparkle and kind of, have that same sort of like energy to it. But I don't know, inside it just kind of looks like light green. I agree. I think that the regular model looks, like it's probably a more bold color. I don't know what Apple's fascination is with these sort of, namby-pamby colors. I mean, I'd like to see like a iPhone 14 Pro in, fluorescent orange or something.
Oh,
something that just like it's like glows in the dark.
Those aren't Pro colors though, are they? Those are pop colors. They had the same debate with the original iMac. Back in 1996 when the original iMac came out as a or was it 1999? Bondi blue. So it's like kind of muted greeny blue, turquoisey blue. And then the next generation, they had all these pop colors. It was like, bright orange, bright pink, bright blue, bright yellow. And then they kind of like cycle between them. It's like, between pop colors and then muted colors, pop colors, muted colors. They've done this with the various iPhone lineups too.
Well, I mean, doesn't it just seem like the Pro, like they've got some kind of thing like, oh, the Pro is for, businessmen or something, this is going to look great in the IBM office suite.
That's actually a really interesting point. It's very muted, like the guys at IBM.
And who do they market these things to? Who do they sell the iPhone 13 Pro Max to? Hollywood directors, influencers, people who like bold colors, not necessarily just like, oh well, I'm sitting here in first class with my very expensive phone. I don't know. Well, I wish they gave us more options. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, same here. And I just wish they didn't do this whole, we're going to release a whole new color 6 months into the release cycle. By the time all the people who love iPhone have already bought their iPhones, and now they actually come out with an interesting color, because I was super disappointed with Mom's Minivan Blue. Which, if you don't get the joke, this color that they use, this light blue color, is literally the exact same color that Honda uses on their minivans. It is the exact same color. And so I was like, I can't do it, man. It's Mom's Minivan Blue. And I like this green a lot more. And I wish they would have just released this at the start of the year. Or, not to beat a dead horse, that bronze color that we thought they were going to release.
Yeah.
That was truly beautiful. And I would have loved to have had something a little bit more unusual than just what they normally do. I mean, this whole bright colors that pop aren't for pros. That is ridiculous. I'm as pro as they come, and I would have loved to have something neon, something out of the ordinary. Besides just we do gray, we do whites and
lighter gray,
and lighter gray. this year's iPhone 14 lighter gray.
I saw a lot of people, well, not a lot, several people on Twitter saying basically the same thing. Like, oh, gee, I wish they would have released this, with the original lineup because, I've already got my uninspiring blue one. And, gee, it would have been nice if they could have released this so I could have got it to match my watch, things like that. So, oh, well. There
you go. So there's your iPhone news. We don't want to go on and on about this too long because we got some other stuff to talk about. We have a tendency just to go on and on and on.
Some actually interesting stuff.
You guys aren't here to talk about iPhones. I know what you want. I know what you guys want, and it's not this. So let's get into it. Let's talk about the new Mac Studio. I wouldn't say that any of us were necessarily expecting. We were expecting a Mac Mini Pro, right? And that's essentially what we got. But I was not expecting a machine of this caliber to be released. I mean, this is the machine that I've been talking about for ages, and I never thought we would actually get it. Right down to like it actually has USB-A ports, which you all made fun of me for years and years and years. You said that Apple would never do it, and you know what? You got me to believe you. I had actually given up hope, Lewis. I'd completely given up hope, and I was resolved to live a USB-C Thunderbolt for life. And here we are with actual USB-A ports. But I'm stealing your thunder, Leander. I'm going to let you take it away and tell us all about the Mac Studio because you purchased one too. So this will be interesting because we got different models.
It's interesting because it's actually the Mac Mini Pro, but also the Mac Pro Mini. And I was actually wondering whether the rumors got mixed up, with this because it fits both those descriptions, doesn't it? Anyway.
Yeah, it does. Although I do think that this leans more towards Mac Mini Pro and not Mac Pro Mini because I think the Mac Pro Mini might still be modular, and this is like a sealed up appliance, hermetically sealed.
I see. Yeah. Well, that's something I want to discuss afterwards. This modularity, which they talked about. Anyway, so Apple on Tuesday gave us this first glimpse at its brand new Mac Studio. Its first desktop featuring the M1 Ultra chip. It's bigger than a Mac Mini, but smaller than Mac Pro, and it's the most powerful machine Apple has built to date. It's the M1 Ultra chip makes a Mac Studio twice as fast as a high-end MacBook Pro, with a 20-core CPU, 64-core GPU, and 128 gigabytes of unified memory, and it's still amazingly power efficient. So like the Mac Mini, the Mac Studio is squeezed into a surprisingly small aluminum enclosure that fits beneath most displays. So the Mac Studio with the M1 Ultra is up to 60% faster than a 28-core Mac Pro in processing and up to 80% faster in graphics, even when the Mac Pro is packing its most powerful GPU option. It packs up to 128 gigabytes of unified memory RAM, plus 32 neural engine cores. 32 neural engine cores, wow, and a 2x faster media engine. So on the back, there's a whole bunch of connectors. Like Irfan said, there's 2 USB-A ports. There's 4 Thunderbolt 4 ports, a 10 gigabit Ethernet port.
Nice.
Is it gigabit?
It's gigabit, yeah. Nice save.
Power connector, HDMI, and a high impedance headphone jack. The base price for the Mac Studio is $2,000, which is what I spent, versus $4,000, which is what Irfan spent, or more.
I spent more.
For the M1 Ultra. And
baby.
I was all hot under the collar for this, but the machine, I think, what this actually is? This is the relaunch of the Cube.
Yeah.
The Power Mac Cube.
Yeah.
And it makes the same mistake. It's like a sort of high-end mid-range. Yeah. Like a mid-range machine, and it makes the same mistake, but it makes the same tragic mistake as a Cube.
Oh, you
it
think
makes
it's
the
tragic?
Same mistake again. Well, it's not upgradable after the fact. You can't upgrade the RAM. You can't upgrade the internal storage unless you bust it open and void your warranty.
Yep.
And you can't put any kind of internal components in it.
Yep.
And this is, I think, ultimately what doomed the Cube. Because it was aimed at pros, but it wasn't expanded in the way that pros wanted to expand it. So, I know that you can get a lot of external, external hardware now that plugs in versus the Thunderbolt ports that will perform almost as well as like an internal component. But I think it's still making that same mistake again. I think, even though I will probably never I bought an iMac a few months ago and I bought it with too little RAM. I made a huge mistake. I got the low end RAM configuration. The RAM is just not enough to make the machine usable, and I'd love to upgrade it, but I can't. I'm stuck with it.
Yeah, I get that sentiment, but I think we're living in a new era where people are used to the fact that they can't upgrade their stuff. It's just hermetically sealed, and if you open it, an alarm goes off in TC's office, and he sends out the white jackets to come get you. And so I don't think that people are going to care that much about.
You don't think people care anymore?
No, I don't. I mean, I am the guy that likes to upgrade my components. I'm broadcasting from the Cult Commander right now, which is a 16-core AMD powered PC, and I do upgrade the components occasionally, but not as often as you would think, because technology moves so fast that by the time you want to upgrade a component, like 2 to 3 years, the motherboard architecture has changed, the chip architecture may have changed, and so you have to upgrade everything anyway. The only thing that you can really reliably upgrade without changing out your entire computer is the GPU. And so with PCs, like, you can upgrade the GPU, but GPUs are so hard to come by that I don't really do it that often anyway. So would I like the ability to do it? Yeah, but it's definitely not a deal breaker for me anymore. I think more than anything else, and I wonder if a lot of people are in the same boat as me, I just need it to work. At this point, I don't want to fuss around with it anymore. I mean, I bought my Mac Studio spec'd out to the degree where it's going to last me 2 to 3 to 4 years, right? It's already way beyond anything that I'm going to be doing. Like, I was joking. I was like, maybe I should upgrade my YouTube videos to 4K now. And it's like, this thing can do 85 streams of 8K at one time. And so it's way over architected for what I need. And as long as it's reliable and it helps me create some good content on my dead YouTube channel that I'm about to revive, then I'll be happy with that. And I think a lot of people are kind of in that same boat. They don't really care about upgradability. I mean, look at the Mac Pro. Like, the Mac Pro is dead and it's upgradable.
Yeah, right. Well, I know that Phil Schiller talked about this a few years ago. Like, they did surveys of customers. I can't remember what issue he was talking about, but they found that I think like 2% or something really, really low of people upgraded their RAM, put more RAM in. Like, almost nobody upgrades, like you said. And I think they did these surveys and they found out that there's only a small number of customers that are actually interested in this. And you might be right. Times have changed. You can get these external GPUs now, right? These boxes, can't you? That are pretty amazing. That went around when the Cube came out. So I don't know, maybe it's moot. I mean, I'm quite happy with it, actually. I don't really, like you said, I don't want it to be upgradable. I'm sorry. I'm probably unlikely to upgrade. I'm actually probably, even though I complain about it, I'm probably actually quite unlikely to actually upgrade it. And of course, I made the mistake of this time around, I got actually a whole bunch of RAM. So I didn't make the same mistake of skimping on the RAM this time.
Okay, so let's get into which ones we both got and why. So you got the M1 Max version. How much RAM did you get?
64, I think.
Oh, you went with 64. You know what?
I'm sorry. I beg your pardon. Maybe it's what is the maximum RAM you can get in it?
You did not get you the maximum from the M1 Max is 64. So you couldn't have gotten 128, and that would have been so massively overkill for what you do. Although, caveat, it would allow you to live the dream that you've always wanted to. You have 185,000 tabs open at one time.
Tab
and you
master.
You can just tab master around, boop, 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 and you're just living your best life. Nothing's crashing, nothing's slowing down. So maybe you should have gotten the Ultra. So the Max you could have gotten is 64 gigs. I'm going to guess you went with 64. That is. So I have a 32 gig MacBook Pro, 2019, and even editing huge timelines full of content in Final Cut Pro, I don't think I ever get past 20. So I ended up going with 64 because that was what was available in the base model. But before we get to me, so why did you decide to go with the model that you went with?
Well, because I was thinking about the review, when we're going to get a review out. So I started clicking around. Like, I was going to order the Ultra chip because I think that's what people are going to be interested in. Yeah. But the shipping time's already slipped into April. And then I was looking at I was thinking, well, maybe I could pick one up at the store on launch day, and we could do a review about that. But in the end, I thought, well, what the heck? When I was clicking the different options, the one that shipped the quickest was like, the low end machine. And I thought, well, that'll do. We can do a review about that. A lot of people I think will be interested in the low end machine rather than the high end machine. It'll just have to do. So that's why I made those choices, really. Plus, like it's a machine I'm going to be using myself personally. I'm going to retire the iMac, and I don't need the Ultra chip. I mean, that's crazy. But answering some emails and using Slack.
Yeah. I think you might be right.
There's no way. I don't need that kind of power. It's absolutely madness. So the low end chip is going to be perfectly fine for my needs.
So check this out. This is one of the reasons why I thought the Mac Studio was such an impressive machine, aside from all the I/O, which I'll go into in just a minute here. But if you got the exact same specs, so let's say you wanted to get the M1 Max with 10 cores, 32-core GPU, 32 gigabytes of RAM, 1 terabyte SSD, the MacBook Pro with those specs would cost you $3,500. And the Mac Studio for the exact same specs is only $2,400. Now, I know it's not a one-to-one comparison because you're not going to get the mini LED screen with the MacBook Pro. You're not going to get the portability or the keyboard because you got to buy a keyboard with the Mac Studio. It doesn't come with a keyboard. That's way their profit margins are way too low on the Mac Studio to give you a keyboard. You got to buy one of those. But if you already have a keyboard that you like, and a lot of people do, if you already have a screen that you like, and a lot of people do, then you can get the same computing power of the 3500 MacBook Pro, 16-inch MacBook Pro, for $2,400. So that's a crazy good value, right? And I thought about doing the same thing. But, I just couldn't do it. And I want to give a very special thank you to a close personal friend and also a CultCast listener who offered me a discount on this stuff, which really helped a lot and made me kind of really just go for it. So I was trying to spec this whole thing out and figure out which Mac Studio I wanted. And I ended up going with the M1 Ultra with 48 cores, not 64 cores, because the 64 core price increase is ridiculous. It's $1,000 to go
really?
from, it's $1,000 price difference to go from 48 cores to 64 cores, and that most people are not going to realize any increase in performance because on a MacBook or on a Mac, you're rarely limited by the number of GPU cores. So I think the sweet spot is 48 cores, where you get, instead of the 2 ProRes encoding up and down encoding engine, you can get 4. You also get, instead of 400 gigabytes of memory bandwidth, you get 800. So you get the benefits of both chips and the performance of all the additional features that you get from doubling the features of both chips without paying that premium for the extra cores that you're probably not going to use anyway. Unfortunately, they make you buy 64 gigabytes of RAM with that, which I think it's just Apple just trying to justify their price increase from the M1 Max to the M1 Ultra. Because if you think about it, like the M1 Max is a $2,000 Mac Studio machine, right? But if you go from the M1 Max to the M1 Ultra, the price doubles, and all you're getting is an extra M1 Max chip. Well, how is that an extra $2,000?
I know, yeah. Killian wrote a good piece about that, sort of like questioning it, and there was actually it caused up a bit of a stir because he was pointing out, you're paying $1,000 for an extra chip. I'm sorry, $2,000, $2,000. You can get 2 of the machines I bought for the cost of one machine that you
Exactly. I mean, it's just such a cash grab. It's just Apple saying, well, do you want the performance in one machine or not? And the price increase is absurd. Because if you also look, if you want to go from the M1 Max with 24 cores to the M1 Max with 32 cores in the Mac Studio, it's a $200 price increase. But on the Ultra Mac Studio, it's $1,000 price increase. Do the exact same thing. And they're giving you 2 chips, right? So you would think that the price increase would be $400, which would be in alignment with what they charge you to increase the cores on the M1 Max with the or the Mac Studio with the M1 Max. But no, it's just way more expensive because they know they can do it and people are going to pay it. So that's the one that I got.
How much did it end up costing?
I think the total, I got 2 terabytes of SSD because the SSD is so fast. It's like, and when you're editing 4K content, it's nice to have everything local. And you can't get an external SSD that comes anywhere close to how fast the Mac Studios SSDs are. They're the same speed as the new MacBook Pro, like 7.4, I think, gigabytes a second or something. You can't even get anywhere close to that with external SSDs. So I'm like, it's worth it to upgrade that. And
how much does that cost extra?
I think it was an extra like
$400.
$400, I think. And then I got a discount. So I think my entire purchase. Let's see here. I'll do the math. I think the actual retail value was like $4,400, and I think I got mine for $3,300. So it was
a nice discount.
It was a big discount.
Wow.
It was a big discount. It was big. It was a big discount. So my love and appreciation to all the listeners. I've had a lot of people offer me discounts on Apple stuff, which I really appreciate because it helps. It really does. Like if I didn't have the discount, I probably wouldn't have gone ham. And I like going ham, so it really helps out a lot. And the other thing.
So what are you gonna do with your old MacBook now?
I'm gonna sell it.
How much did you get for it?
I was looking on eBay, $2,000. $2,000 for that machine. It's 3 years old.
And how much you pay for it?
I think I got a discount on that one too. So I think I paid maybe $2,900 for it.
But it was worth what? How much would it have paid if you hadn't got a discount?
Oh,
like 35.
It would have been like it would have been like $4,200, $4,300.
So it's kind of halved in price.
It was
which I guess
so. I got a 25% discount on that one.
Yeah, but I just sort of think it's devalued. It's halved in price since it came out, right? 3 years ago.
Yeah. Which, if you think about, is pretty crazy that you can use a computer for 3 years and then sell it for half the price that you bought it for. Like that does not happen in the world of PCs. And it looks brand new too, and it's still a great machine. It's Intel based, but it's still an incredibly powerful machine. And honestly, it's probably all that I really need, but it's not all that I want. So I had to do it.
What do you think about the form factor of the Studio?
I love it. There's nothing
about the way it looks?
There's nothing about this machine that I don't love. I've said before, I want a Swiss Army knife of a computer, and this is that. I mean, Apple literally gave us everything that I could have wanted. They have 4 Thunderbolt 4 ports on the front, or on the back, excuse me. 2 on the front if you get the M1 Ultra, otherwise they're USB-C ports. And let me bring this up so people can look at the I/O. You get a 10G Ethernet port, and they don't even bother making you upgrade it. It's just 10G. That's all you get, which is exactly what I was hoping for. You get 2 USB-A ports on the back. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Everyone sing with me. I mean, who saw that coming? You get an HDMI connector, okay. And this was a small detail that people haven't really mentioned very much, but it's not just a headphone jack, it's a high impedance headphone jack, which means you can use it with like your high-end headphones. And that was just like one of those small touches that you didn't expect, but it made the machine just that much better. And then on the front, you get the SD card slot like right there on the front, so you can offload all your media there. And then you get the insane power of the M1 Ultra. And people are comparing the GPU performance of the M1 Ultra to the new NVIDIA 3090, which you can't even buy it because they're not even available anywhere. And that's an insanely powerful chip that costs, or an insanely powerful GPU that I think costs $1,500. So. And
how does it compare?
Well, the comparisons. Yeah, like basically saying that they're pretty much parallel in performance, which is totally nuts.
Yeah. Bonkers.
So I don't think the price for what you get is actually that outrageous, because this machine is so incredibly powerful, and it basically is their most powerful machine at this point. It just has everything that I possibly could have wanted. Like I said, there's just nothing about it.
Well, people have been waiting. It's like a unicorn, isn't it? It's the fabled, legendary headless Mac that people have been waiting for 20 years for. 20 years, right?
Yeah.
Instead of the Mac Pro or the Mac Mini. It's like, this is definitely, this is a machine that a lot of people have been waiting for. Yeah, and in fact,
sorry, go ahead.
Well, because Graham wrote a really good opinion piece today that's on the site. It's leading the site, and it's about how the Mac is back. Like it's the best lineup in 10 years. He was saying that the last 10 years have been like a horrible wilderness for the Mac. Like it's been awful. But now, they've got the best lineup they've ever had.
I'm curious to see what happens with the Mac Pro, because it seems like no matter what they do to the Mac Pro, you just end up spending tens of thousands of dollars for a machine that is out of date within 3 years. It happened to the trash can Mac, and I would argue it's happened to the Mac Pro. I mean, people or the modular Mac Pro, right? The desktop version that they released, where you can change all the components inside. I guess it's not modular, but has user replaceable components, because people bought that machine and not that long after, the Macs that were coming out with Apple Silicon were outperforming it in a lot of different ways. I mean, that machine has been obsolete for at least a year, I would argue, since the 2016 MacBook Pro came out. And so I'm curious to see what they do with the Apple Silicon Mac Pro, but I would be hesitant to buy that machine because it has a haunted past. Like, people keep buying it and it keeps being outdated really super fast, and then you can't sell it. So you basically have like a $15,000 machine that you can't do anything. Well, I mean, you could use it, but it's not as fast as something that might cost, 1/3 of the price. Was there anything else I was going to mention about the Mac Studio, or should we move on? I think that pretty much covers it. Again, I will just reiterate, if you're looking to get one of these and you want the really powerful one, don't get the 64 core. It really is not worth the extra cost. It's so expensive to add the extra cores. And all you're getting for that $1,000 extra to go from $4,000 to $5,000, all you're getting are an extra, 16 cores? Yeah, 16 cores. Yeah. Did I do that math right? Probably not.
God knows. Don't do it, kids.
This is why I never do math on the fly on this show, because it's just too easy to make a mistake. Yeah, it's just not worth it to get the extra cores, because for that price tag, all you get are the extra cores, and that's not going to be your limiting factor. Now let's move on to something a little bit more controversial. Where is it? Where did I put it? The Mac, or the Studio display. Okay. I was really excited for this display, and I pre-ordered one. And then I started doing some digging. And you're not going to want to hear this. And
I don't know. It's not that bad, but you've got some buyer's remorse, huh?
I'm actually thinking about either canceling my pre-order. So I'm either going to cancel my pre-order, or I'm going to use it. And if this thing doesn't impress the hell out of me, I'm going to send it back. And I'll tell you why. The more you look into this, the more I've looked into this, the more I feel like I got scammed. I got scammed. Apple's scamming us on this one. And I'm going to tell you why. I'll go into all the specs here in a second, but the more you look into this Studio display, the more you realize it's literally just an iMac, an M1 iMac. They removed the Mac and they raised the price $300, and they're selling it to you as a display. And that is no joke. Like, when you go through spec by spec and look at these two products together, there are way too many similarities to be a coincidence. So before I dive into everything, I will say it does look like a beautiful display. And I think for people who are just needing a general business monitor, I think it's actually a really good display. My quibble is with the price. I think this should be $1,000. I think the $1,600 price tag is actually outrageous for what you get. And so what do you get? It's $1,599 with the normal stand. It has 5K resolution and 600 nits of brightness. Okay. Now the 600 nits of brightness is 100 nits brighter than the M1 iMac display, and the Studio display is also larger, so it's 5K, right? Has the same pixel density as the M1 iMac does, but it is larger. It's 27 inches instead of 24 inches. So you're getting a larger display with better brightness and higher resolution. So there's that. But other than those three distinctions, these two things, the M1 iMac display and the Studio display, are literally identical. They both have support for 1 billion colors. They both have wide color P3 support. They both have True Tone. They both have, and this is literally the exact same language used on both pages on Apple's website, high fidelity 6-speaker system with force canceling woofers. The exact same sentences used on both product pages. And all these other things I'm about to say, literally the exact same on both product pages. Wide stereo sound, support for spatial audio, studio quality 3 mic array with high signal to noise ratio and directional beamforming, exact same on both product pages, and support for hey, you know who. So
wow, that's the oh man,
that's
I
the
can't
kicker.
believe you got that built right into your monitor.
And I think one of the reasons why they built that in the monitor is because it gives you hey, you know who support for older Macs that wouldn't otherwise support this feature that no one actually uses.
Right.
So there's a lot of extra expense that goes into this monitor to build in features for older Macs that don't have these features. And so I'm not kidding. Let me show you some pictures. not only are the specs the same here, guys, but when you look at these pictures side by side, it is literally the exact same thing. I am not joking. Let me bring up let me bring this up. Whoops. I'm going to show you a picture. Okay, so I know it's kind of small. Here is the iMac, the 24-inch iMac. Now look at the foot. You guys can't see this. Sorry, Leander and Lewis. Just look at the stream. Look at the way the monitor is shaped. Look at the hinge right here, the foot. So keep that in your mind's eye, deep in your mind's eye. Ready? And now I'm going to show you the studio display. Is this it? Yeah, here it is. Let me just copy and paste that in there. And I'll go back and forth between these so you can see what I'm talking about. Oh, whoops. Did I put the wrong son of a gun? We'll have great fun. I put the wrong link in here, so let's just go to it manually. Studio display. Where is it? Studio display. There we go. Learn more. Okay. Oh, dear me. Let me go through all this video here. Son of a gun. Where is it? I freaking lost the picture, which is really gonna grind this point to a halt, isn't it? Let me just search studio display here. Sorry, no, this is great television. I had it all lined up.
Dun, 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 dun.
Grind it even more
Technical
to a
difficulties, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back with the show as soon as we can.
I think what happened was TC, he knew that I was going to be making this point. And I think he hacked into my Google account and messed with my data here. Shoot, I can't find a picture of it now. And I need that picture, yeah. So I'm losing my
really?
I'm losing my thunder here, but does anyone have
You're
a
just
profile
looking for
I'm looking
That's
for
all you're looking for is
I'm looking for a profile picture of it. And you know what?
a profile.
I bet you Oh, here we go. I found it. Here it is. Oh, no. Hold on. There it is.
Jeez.
Got it. Thank you for bearing with me. Okay. Here's the side profile pic of the studio display. Okay. iMac, M1 iMac, studio display. M1 iMac, studio display. Sorry for those of you listening. You'll have to go, and I'll put links to this in the show notes so you can check it out. This is literally the exact same body. They just made it bigger.
But those other ones are colored different.
Well, there's a silver one, Lewis.
Right.
There's a silver one. So there's literally the exact same color, the exact same format. They just made the size of the display larger by 3 inches. They increased the resolution by 0.5K, and
took
so
out the
there you go.
computer.
So there you go. I mean, that's why I feel like it's kind of a scam, because Apple took the iMac and removed the Mac and raised the price and is selling you just the empty shell of a display for $300 more than you would pay for the iMac. Am I right or am I right?
Well, you kind of, yeah. You know, it is bigger, and it has an A15 or chip, right?
Yeah, it has an A13 versus an M1.
A13, yeah.
It's got a worse chip.
Well, that's TC knows what he's doing, Irfan.
He is a magic master of marketing. So that's all I'm saying is like when I look at these side by side, I feel like I got scammed. I'm like, I just bought the studio display. It's $1,500. I didn't get the one with the adjustable height because that would have been $2,000. And it's the same as the M1 iMac, except there's no Mac. And the other thing is and this is kind of the thing that if it had HDR, I probably could have let it go. I've been like, okay, I'm getting scammed, but at least it has HDR. But there's no HDR. It's 2022. This display is $1,600. People are making HDR videos. This has no HDR. That's why, for me, I'm like, I don't know if this is a good fit for me, and it may be a good fit for you if you don't care that you're getting scammed, and you just want a great business monitor because it has the 1080p FaceTime camera built in with like the great looking image, like the same picture quality as like all the new Macs do. But for video editors, I would have rather this display been 4K, 32 inches HDR than 5K, no HDR, and 27 inches. So I'm going to use it. I'll see how I like it. I'm sure it's a really beautiful monitor. Like I said, I think the problem is the price. I think they're charging way too much money for this. It should be $1,000 in my opinion. It should be less than the iMac.
No promotion. That's what I'll miss.
And no promotion. Right. There's that as well. And I mean, the one thing you do get with the studio display that you don't get with the iMac is it will charge over Thunderbolt, or it will charge your laptop over Thunderbolt at 96 watts. So that's nice. That's a plus. But I'm going to take some heat from this. I think that one of the LG ultrafine monitors is going to be a better option for a lot of people. Like, I got the 32-inch LG ultrafine monitor from Costco. They had it on sale. It's normally $650. I got it for $500, and actually I returned it because I was like, you know what? I don't really need a monitor. This is before I knew the event was going to be announced. And now I'm kind of kicking myself because a 4K, not 5K, would have been enough for me. It had HDR, and it was only $500. And so for me, I'm like, because I don't really need the
They
FaceTime
still have those.
camera. What's that?
That'd be a nice second monitor, man.
Yeah, and those go on sale at Costco occasionally. Like I said, they're normally $650, but they go on sale for $500. Now I know they're not as beautiful, and they don't have all the speakers.
They have a plasticky body,
and they're plasticky, which I know a lot of people love. And I'm with you. It's not as beautiful as the studio display. I get that, but how much is the beauty worth to you? Because you're paying $1,600 plus tax for this monitor. I think the reason here's what Apple did, right? They looked at the studio or at the XDR display. And a lot of people, and I've heard this point countless times. People were like, "Well, the XDR display is $5,000." I'm like, bro, you got scammed. It's a what do they call it? A price hook or something, right? Where they start off with a really expensive product because now that's where your head's at from a value perspective, and they say, "Well, this one is only $1,600," so it seems like a good deal, but the Pro XDR display and the studio display are not even in the same universe. Like, the Pro XDR display is for pros. This is a consumer grade monitor that is built for people who don't do professional level work, I think. So is it a terrible monitor? No, it's a great monitor. But for $1,600, I think that you would be better off buying something cheaper and getting HDR and a larger display. And then just get a couple of HomePod minis and put those in front of your computer for audio, right? So, we didn't lose a bunch of people. Price Anchor. Thank you, Adam Broussard. Yeah. That's what I was looking for. Anchor. Firm handshakes to Adam Broussard. So, I don't know, man. I know I'm gonna love the monitor when I get it. I just don't know if I'm at $1,600 love it. I don't think so. And go ahead, Lewis.
So you didn't get the $300 nano texture glass?
No. Definitely.
That's just kind of
definitely don't get that
amazing.
Unless you're in, like,
people
a studio.
You scoff, but it is pretty amazing. I saw some videos about that stuff, and it's like that weird, freaky black paint that absorbs all light. Like, it doesn't reflect at all. It's totally black and weird. It actually is kind of impressive, but you have to have a special, $20 polishing cloth to clean it.
Well, I got some of those for it.
Did you go for that?
No, I didn't go for that. No.
So you just got the normal studio display, Lander?
Yeah, the cheap one, of course.
Hearing anything that I said, is that going to sway you in any way? Do you care?
Well, I don't care about HDR really. And again, like for email and Slack, it is expensive, but it's in fact it's really expensive. And now that I know that I could have got a $500 one, I'm probably going to return it myself.
Well, it's normally $650. Like the LG Ultrafine 5K is normally $650. But yeah, it does go on sale somewhat regularly for $500 at Costco, and you get a 3-year warranty on it. And again, you don't get all the speakers. You don't get any speakers. You don't get the FaceTime camera. But I guess for video editors, like, I don't want any of that stuff. I don't care about that stuff. In fact, I don't even care about True Tone because I have to turn True Tone off when I'm editing because I don't want the monitors to alter the color of what I'm seeing. I want to see what the actual color of the video is when I'm color grading it and stuff. So if you're just a regular business user, then this monitor, it might be worth it for you, even though you're getting scammed.
I think
but
it's definitely
for
expensive.
People who are,
but complaining about Apple being expensive, I think you're in the wrong podcast, man. You're on the wrong business. But it is super expensive. Yeah, I mean, it's like they're getting a really nice. They're getting TC is getting a big chunk of cash for each one of these. But like the center stage and the nice HD camera, I'm just sort of thinking about the convenience of that. Plug it in with one cable into the studio. I mean, it's going to be nice. It's going to be a really nice combination. It's going to be a really nice computer. So I'll suck it up.
If you, I'm not saying you won't love it. I think you will. I guess, again, I'll stop making this point. But my point is for what you get, it's too expensive. And it does seem like a weird mismatch. Like the M1 or the Mac Studio is a pro level machine geared towards creative professionals, but the screen that they're pairing it with doesn't seem like it has the same pedigree as the actual machine itself because you can't do HDR. It has no mini LED, so the contrast ratio is probably going to be 1,000 to 1 instead of 1,000,000 to 1. It doesn't have promotion. And then it's really expensive, oddly expensive, even though it's basically just an M1 Max screen. I mean, it's almost literally an M1 Max. Excuse me.
Well, that's what they
screen.
based it on. The engineering, wasn't it? The same engineering.
Yeah. So that's the way it looks so far. And if you look at the specs pages, that's the way it seems to be. But if you get one, more power to you. I am getting one. I ordered one, so I just dropped like $4,500 on Apple stuff, which was had me.
Does your wife know about this?
Shh, keep your voice down, dude. Keep your voice down. No, honey, we weren't talking about what I spent. We were talking about what he spent. Yeah, I mean, I'll be sleeping on. Do you guys have couches? You guys have couches, right?
What?
Couches, you have an open couch, Leander? You think Tracy would mind me sleeping on the couch for a while?
Spot in the basement is still open.
Oh, great. A creepy basement that is haunted. Yeah,
it's now overrun with rats.
Oh, so. Good. Yeah, I'll be right over.
Pets down there.
So there you go. There's my thoughts on the Studio Display and the Mac Studio. One of them I'm really excited about, and one of them I'm a little lukewarm now. Louis, were you going to say something?
I can't believe you didn't go for the $400 height adjustable stand.
I almost did, but I'll tell you why I didn't, okay? If you're thinking about getting the Studio Display, think this. How often do you actually adjust the height of your monitor, right? Because I almost did, and then I was like, I can't remember the last time I adjusted the height of my monitor. You said it once, and then it's
because
done.
It's not height adjustable, probably.
No, it is. I have it on an arm.
Oh,
I have it on an arm, so I can literally move it all around. I could turn it if I want to, but I never do. And if I need some extra height on the monitor, I'll just get like a phone book or something.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say. I was gonna look around for a book. Here's my height adjuster right
here. Or you
here.
get like one of those nice monitor stands that so many companies make, and then you can put your Mac Studio underneath it, right? And then that's it. You're done. Like you won't need to move it again after that. So, but I'll probably end up returning it anyway. I've been on the verge of canceling it, but I at least got to try and see if I'll fall in love with it. But and keep in mind, I got mine for a discount. So they're $1,600 monitors. I think after the discount, mine was $1,200. So I got a significant discount on it. And even at $1,200, I'm like, I don't know if this is worth it. Like, I think in order for me to want to keep it would probably have to be $900, honestly, for what you get. But
$50. How about $50?
50. If you want me to keep it, I'll do $44.99. That's as high as I'm going.
Okay.
No higher. It's definitely not worth any more than that. Let's see here. Oh my goodness, we've been going forever and we haven't even finished the show. Before we move on, Louis, do you want to talk about the giveaway just real quick?
Yeah, we got a new one this week. We're giving away a pair of protective accessories for Apple devices. These are made by Raptic, company that used to be known as Defense by Xdoria.
I think Raptic is a much more memorable word.
Raptic sounds aggressive. Anyway, this bundle, we're giving away 5 of these bundles. It comes with Raptic's Terrain iPhone 13 Pro case, 10-foot drop protection, and the other thing in the bundle is the Link Plus Lock AirTag case, which is like this rugged carabiner with a combination lock on it. And these things list for $39 each. We're giving away 5 bundles. Get in there, enter, get your chances, take home something you like.
I mean, you're all but guaranteed to win, but no, I'm just joking. But you got a chance. That's all I'm saying. So
I was thrilled to see that these cases are made in America, and they're really stressing like, okay, that's good for the environment because A, they don't have to be flown in from China, and B, they were talking about they're biodegradable and very very green cases. They're good looking cases. They I think they come in 3 colors. Didn't write that down. Can't remember. But they sound like they're pretty good. And in fact, I just, oddly enough, I just bought an iPhone case. Finally got tired of looking at that blue. And I bought the Apple product red silicone case.
You are a red man. You like red.
Man, I've had this for like a week, not even a week. It's already got 2 divots out of it, man. What? I've never had one of these silicone cases before. Are they all garbage?
I thought they were pretty nice.
How did it get chewed up? Can you see that? You can't see that.
I do see that. Yeah, it looks like it's got some divots.
It's got a big divot out of it.
Well, better that than the phone.
Yeah,
I didn't
good
even
point.
drop
Okay,
it.
good point.
Didn't even drop it. Anyway, I'm sure that the Raptix terrain is not going to, do that because they look like quality cases. And I'm very excited. I'm very excited. We're giving away American-made products. It's a nice.
And that
nice change of
carabiner for
pace.
the AirTag is pretty cool. It's
Yeah.
it's like an armored sort of secure case for an AirTag. That I guess it looks like it's attached to your luggage or your bag, and it has a little lock on it, so you can't easily be removed. It looks pretty good.
Yeah, I like the I like the description of it in the post. It's like, well, it's not petite. It's pretty beefy looking. It almost looks like you could lock your bike up with it or something.
Yeah, it looks burly for sure. All right, well, I'll put links to the giveaway.
Oh, all right.
Yes.
You could just go to cultofmac.com and scroll down to where it says giveaway.
You could do that as well. It's like
That's
halfway down
another
the
way to
page.
do it.
There you go. Click on giveaway and enter to surefire win your here. It's basically just like buying things for free. Just go in there, say I want it, and we're like, okay, cool, we'll send it to you. Maybe not that easy. You may not win, but
I don't think so.
You might just win.
Interest is high.
Interest is very high, so get your entry in as soon as you can. All right, let's see here. Who's talking about this Apple TV scores Friday night Major League Baseball snooze fest? Is that you, Lewis? No one cares.
I just wanted to mention it. I mean, did you guys care about that? I mean,
nobody cares about that, Lewis.
It seemed so lame. I mean, we've scored a deal with Major League Baseball, which isn't even actually happening, and it's like what? Oh, and what did he say? Tim Cook said something like these 2 baseball games that you can only see on Apple TV Plus. I haven't had time to dig into that, but is that true? They're gonna black these out in all other networks and only on Apple TV Plus.
I mean, if he said it, it's probably true. I don't think
he's
lying.
Isn't that the kind of the point, really?
Yeah.
Huh?
Isn't that the point too? I mean, they're gonna, it has to be exclusive. Otherwise, what's the point of paying for it?
Yeah, good point.
Just odd. Well, actually, you know what? They said that you can, at least for a limited time, this is going to be free. So it's kind of a good idea. Try and get people interested in Apple TV Plus. But
baseball is one of those sports. It's like golf. Look, I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me on this, and that's fine. I just think it's really boring to watch. Being at a baseball game is one thing, and then watching baseball is a completely different thing. And golf is the same thing. But if you're really into these sports, then this might be exciting for you. So let's not talk about this anymore because
it's just I just want to mention it. Okay. I thought
there was a rumor they were going to spend billions and billions of dollars on NFL, right? That service like a week or 2 ago.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. But,
so and there's all sorts of talk about this is like perfect content for the new VR glasses and AR glasses, but
all right, so Jason Autry is saying from the chat, MLB has regional blackouts, and this is so much better. That's interesting. Okay, so they don't show certain games in certain areas, and so now that's not going to happen. Jeff Drew saying baseball's back, baby. Someone's excited about baseball. You know what I love at the baseball games? The garlic fries.
Baseball's even more boring than cricket. My God, but cricket is really what they should get. Cricket is the truly massive international sport after soccer. Cricket's huge. It has massive audiences. Way bigger than the NFL.
Darts is what they need.
That's right.
We got a flip back from the chat. He's saying, who sells a computer tower without a keyboard and mouse attached? Well, is it a tower? I don't think it's a tower, so they got you there. Only Apple, $200. Yeah, that is a good point, man. You got the Mac Studio, and then you got to drop another $350 on a keyboard and a mouse if you want the Apple versions.
$350.
Yeah, I think the new trackpad.
From Apple, right?
Yeah, if you buy the trackpad, I think it's $150, and then the keyboard is $200. I only got the trackpad because I already have a keyboard that I really like, but the trackpad's a must-have. You got to have the trackpad. That thing is so much better than a mouse when you're video editing and stuff.
Right. I agree. Yeah, totally.
But yeah, it's an extra expense, isn't it? I mean, they got you. And I was laughing about it too. I'm like, a $4,000 machine, and they won't even toss in a friggin' keyboard or a track. I mean, nothing. And the other thing, sorry, we're backtracking now, but what does this all mean for the iMac Pro, right? Because we're still, according to Gurman, we are still getting an iMac Pro. So it makes you wonder, what is that machine going to? How is that machine going to manifest? What is going to be better than the Mac Studio? I think it's gonna possibly be worse. I don't think it's gonna be more powerful, although I guess they could put in the the M1 Ultra Max that they're gonna put in the Mac Pro, but I doubt they'll do that. they're probably going to save that for the Mac Pro, although maybe. And then it's going to have less I/O. It's not going to have all the I/O that the Mac Studio has. So in my opinion, it might be worse. It might actually be worse. But if they put a display in it that has HDR, I'm gonna cry and soil my pants, because that's the one thing that would have swayed me to actually want the iMac Pro instead of the Mac Studio is a better display. Since we already talked about the Studio display and what it actually is, I won't go back into it. All right, should we talk about iPad Air 5? Who's doing this story? No one signed up for the story.
Lewis.
Is anybody excited about it? Okay, yeah, new iPad Air 5.
You know what?
That's
I
great.
am, Lewis. Seriously,
Well, yeah,
I thought about almost buying one.
Yeah?
Yeah, because it's super powerful now. I mean, it basically obsoleted the iPad Pro. I think.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, you mean the iPad Pro? Yeah.
What did I say?
I thought, well, maybe that's what you said. I thought you just said iPad. Yeah, so they what did they do? They put the M1 processor in the iPad Air 5. Price starts at $599. Starts out with 64 gigabytes of storage. You could also go up to 256, which I'm sure that'll be a healthy price increase.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. Apple M1, blah blah blah. We all know what that is. They're saying that this is 8-core CPU, delivers up to 60% faster performance than the A14 and the previous one.
Yep.
And 8-core GPU, up to 2 times faster graphics performance. Okay, sounds great. This is awesome. It's got the 12 megapixel.
Megapixels.
How long have I been avoiding that one?
I know you're a big fan of megapickles.
Megapixel. Oh my god.
Did you go to the deli for lunch today, there, Lewis?
Oh man, I am pretty hungry right now.
That's like one of those. That's like one of those pickles you see at the gas station floating in that giant jar, and you're tempted.
Yeah.
Fluorescent green.
That's
actually the color iPhone I'm looking for. That bright green pickle thing.
Mega pickle.
Yeah. So it's got the ultra-wide front-facing camera that lets it use center stage, which I've never used center stage, but I hear it's absolutely awesome during a video call. I don't know if we need to go over what that is, but it just lets it follow around, right? It's gee whiz, 5G cellular networks.
Yeah.
Optional,
I mean,
whatever.
it's a nice option if you want.
Yeah, maybe depending where you live, I suppose. Yeah. Let's see. Works with Apple Pencil 2. That's great. So it clings to the side magnetically. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Smart connector on the back, which is great. Let's see. Comes in. You won't believe this. 5 colors.
What?
Space gray, starlight, pink, purple, and a stunning new blue.
Oh, I don't like that blue at all.
Did you see how stunning that new blue is?
It's stunningly bad.
It's
not a great shade. Not a great shade.
They need to shake up their color palette. Anyway, the really great thing about this thing is, like you're saying, it basically it costs $200 less than an 11-inch iPad Pro, and as our writer Ed Hardy wrote this week, iPad Air 5 basically is a better choice for almost everybody. There's a few ways.
That's actually not true. I've got one. There's one feature, but anyway,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if we need to go over what it is. I mean, but his point is there's a whole host of these of specs that it's almost head to head the same as the iPad Pro. You of course can pay more for the iPad Pro and get much more storage. Much more, and you get more RAM if you get much more storage. But if you want to pay an extra $1,100 to the price of your iPad, right?
Oof.
It also
$749 for the 256. Yikes.
Yeah. It's also got better cameras and a LiDAR scanner, which I mean, I use that at almost
all the time.
Almost every single
I
day,
LiDAR
right?
So much, yeah.
Although again, as we always make fun of that, but I mean, it does help with the pictures, right? So if you want to use your iPad for photography, you want to stay with the Pro.
Yeah.
It also got a Thunderbolt 4 port.
Did you mention Wi-Fi 6?
I don't think that was even listed in there.
Oh, it probably is not, but that's worth mentioning because Wi-Fi 6 is a lot faster than Wi-Fi 5, and Apple is slowly upgrading all their devices to Wi-Fi 6, and all the new routers are Wi-Fi 6. So that would be a significant increase in data speeds on your internet if you
which
if
one?
you have a Wi-Fi.
Which one has 6? The Pro or the new
the iPad
Air?
Air? The new iPad Air.
Oh, the new one. So it probably beats the Pro in that regard.
I think the Pro has Wi-Fi 6 too. I'd have to go check though.
Oh, so that would be another one of those things where it's feature parity. Anyway, Ed's a giant iPad freak, and his basic thing was like, well, there's a couple of scenarios where you might want to pay $200 or much more, but in general, if you're getting ready to buy one right now and you don't have that very specific reason to do it, wait till the next iPad Pro comes out because it's going to be a screamer.
I just think that for the value, for the price this is, there's no reason to buy an iPad Pro now. At least wait till Apple updates the iPad Pro and see what they do. But for most people, this is going to be the iPad that you want. In fact, I wish I had this iPad. This probably actually runs circles around my iPad Pro circa 19. What was it? 2018 was when I don't know when I came out. 2019.
25.
I don't even know. I've had it forever, and this probably runs circles around it now.
I mean, the regular iPad is pretty darn good for most people, for what most people use an iPad for. But
yeah, especially me, because the iPad Pro is so overkill for anything that I do. And I mean, it's literally, I always say this, it's my Dr. Disrespect machine. It's like I just watched Dr. Disrespect on it, which, by the way, I don't know if you guys saw this tweet, kind of random aside. Remember how he got kicked off Twitch? Do you guys remember this story?
Yeah.
And I did this whole video about why I thought he got kicked off, and dude, it got downvoted to heck. I got so many downvotes on that video, it's crazy. But because people kept downvoting it, YouTube was like, oh shoot, people are interacting with this video in a big way. And so they kept showing it to more and more and more people, and I just got an absolute. I thought I was gonna get taken out. Like, it was the biggest wave of hate that I've ever experienced. People were so mad that I was talking about Dr. Disrespect, and basically my take was that that Dr. Disrespect was removed from Twitch because Twitch no longer needed to be paying him the big bucks that they were paying him because Mixer was closing down. And so they removed him from the platform and basically just told him to pound sand. And no one knows exactly what happened, but Dr. Disrespect did mention that he was going to sue Twitch. And today he tweeted that everything has been resolved and neither party is admitting a fault. And I was like, you know what that means? You know what that means?
69.
Oh, wait. That was the wrong button. Oh, wait a second. Where was the right button? Let's see if I.
Oh my!
That means big settlement. Big settlement coming to Dr. D. I bet you Twitch just paid him millions of dollars.
What was his contract worth in the first place?
No one knows. But I heard. I had a friend who worked at Facebook, and he was saying that his industry friends were saying that his contract was $3 million.
Wow.
And at the time, there were battles over keeping streamers on platforms because Microsoft was paying these creators like tons of money to come to Mixer, and Twitch kept losing some of their biggest streamers. And so Twitch was like, we got to do something to keep our stars on our platform. And so they made an agreement with Dr. Disrespect to keep him on the platform, which worked great for him because it was the dominant platform. So he got paid to continue doing what he was doing and stay on the dominant platform. And then once Mixer called it quits, all of a sudden Twitch, for reasons they wouldn't say, just banned him from the platform. And I think they were like, why are we paying this guy? We don't need to pay this guy anymore. Where is he going to go? And so they just canceled him. And he sued him, and it looks like he got some kind of settlement. There's no way he would have settled with them with the note saying that he can't discuss it and that no party's admitting fault if they didn't pay him some big bucks. Big bucks. Yeah. All right.
Well, good for him.
Yeah. That's enough on that. Let's talk about iPhone SE.
Hold on, there's
before we
one
wrap
thing
it up.
about the iPad Air that sucks.
Okay, what's that?
Touch ID, no Face ID.
Nah. Oh, you know what else doesn't have Face ID? The $1,600 studio display.
Actually, that's a good point.
Why couldn't they have at least worked in Face ID on that display? I mean, the reason they don't work it in on the MacBook Pro and the Macs, on the Notebook Max, is because the bezels are so slim. But they couldn't have worked it anyway. Okay, so no Face ID on the iPad. Did you say the iPad Air?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. It's still still Touch ID, but
So
okay, yeah, go ahead.
So that's what the boat race is.
Right.
Got it.
Oh, you finally got it? You didn't get it? Oh, dear.
I have
If
no
you
idea
didn't
what you
get
guys
it,
are talking about.
none of
Right
the readers are going to get it. And the news I had today, I was like talking about it, and I used some British Cockney rhyming slang.
Oh,
and Lewis had no idea what I was talking
that's
about.
surprising.
Now he finally got it.
It only took him 3 hours. I'm sure the readers all got it right away.
Oh my God, yeah.
Okay, let's wrap up with this story because we're going. How long have we been streaming here?
Oh,
Like 2
4
hours.
days.
Forever.
Yeah, so let's wrap it up here with this new iPhone SE story. Lewis, take it away.
Holy moly, 2 in a row. Yeah, so the iPhone SE also has 5G, also has A15 Bionic, same as iPhone 13, and ceramic shield on front and back, which is an upgrade.
That's totally crazy, that is.
Yeah. Same basic, I don't know if it's exactly the same chassis, but it like basically looks exactly the same as last one. Even the color's the same, Midnight, Starlight, and Product Red. The biggest surprise to me was ceramic shield on the front. Let's see.
Sorry, I was reading the chat. I would have given you a laugh on that, but I didn't actually hear what you said.
Yeah, well, it wasn't too funny, but
Okay.
Anyway, Tim, so I was watching this over again, and Tim Cook says the iPhone SE is popular with people who want a smaller iPhone, penny pinchers. He didn't say that, but affordable, and new iPhone users. So young folks and people switching from Android. He also said that iPhone has more new users than the previous 5 launches. The 13 lineup, the iPhone 13 lineup, more new users than the previous 5 launches. That's kind of an astonishing.
Does he mean more than 5 launches put together? It must be, right? It must be. So it's crazy.
I don't think he meant. It surely couldn't be together because that would be insane. Even if it's just more, I mean, if iPhone is bringing in more people year after year after year, I mean, think about that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Somebody here has put in these notes. There's no 6mm wave 5G.
That was
I also saw something that it doesn't work with AT&T's upcoming, some numbers I can't remember, 2.35 something. There's so many different flavors of 5G. It's a little annoying. Same old, body. This also has Touch ID in a home button.
I mean, it's the same phone. They just
if you
added
like
5G
that,
and
if you like that, there it is. That's
Yeah.
great. Slightly higher price tag, $429.
instead of
Still not as
$3.99.
much as a tank of gas.
Yeah.
Yeah, no
Oh
kidding.
my God.
Especially in California. Is it? Wait, it's $4.29 a gallon and out in California, right? $429 a gallon.
Over 5 for sure. Over 5 at Costco.
You guys are going to be in such great shape because you're just going to be walking and riding your bike around everywhere. That's all there is.
That's gonna be something to look forward to.
Well, there you go. The iPhone SE, a little bit more expensive, same exact phone, 5G, and same iPhone 8 body style.
I think
But you
it
get
looks.
the A15 Bionic. I mean, that's the best that you can get. So for what you're getting speed wise, that's a great value.
Yeah, I think it's solid.
Yeah. Benchmarks just came out today saying it matches iPhone 13. So
Wow.
in performance, and why wouldn't it really? I mean, it's the same
Right.
chip. But
Right.
yeah, I mean, honestly, if I didn't work at Cult Mac, I mean, being a cheapskate, that's probably the phone I'd buy. I mean, $429, that's quite affordable.
Yeah. I agree. Not the phone for me, but definitely a good phone for people who don't want
Are the cameras any good on it?
Well, that's the thing. Actually, now that you mention it, you definitely miss it's just got like the one.
It's
the
got
one
the one
phone thing.
Yeah.
And they talked about how it has a lot of the same computational stuff, computational photography, but it doesn't have the different lenses
Yeah, it's
and all
great.
that. So.
TR4. I mean, you're getting the same picture quality. You're just not getting the lenses, the different cameras and lenses,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
So
And so it's going to be perfectly good for a lot of uses, isn't it?
yeah, absolutely.
I'll tell you what, if I dropped my iPhone 13 Pro that does not have the ceramic shield on the front, if I dropped that on a pile of rocks today, I would be buying the iPhone SE
Let's go test it out. See what
to
happens.
replace it. Yeah,
can
go
make one of
test
those-
it out.
Make
Good
one of those
thinking.
YouTube videos where it's like as soon as you buy the phone, you just throw it on the ground to see what happens. All right. Well, I think we should go ahead and wrap it up there, guys. We just spent like 3.5 hours talking about Apple hardware. Yeah,
We
did you forget
didn't talk about the Apple TV Plus movies coming up. They did it.
Oh, okay. Let me stop the music. Actually, you know what? Let's do it after the show. You do the segment after the show, and then I'll edit that part. How's that sound?
Good thinking.
All right, guys. That's all the CultCast we have for you guys this week. We got no more saliva left in our mouths. But if you want to come and tell us which products were your favorite and which Mac Studio you're going to be buying, we're all on Twitter. I'm at Erfon, ERFON. Lewis is at Lewis Wallace. Leander is at LK. This has been the CultCast, the best 30-plus minute app conversation you're going to hear all week long. New episodes of the CultCast come out. I was motorboating that every Thursday night. Thank everyone for listening, and we'll see you guys next time. Oh, we made it. I have a jaw cramp talking so much. This will probably be our last show once everyone hears what I have to say about the studio display. After crushing everyone's hopes and dreams. That will be it. We gotta go, Brian. I'll edit that part out, and instead I'll just switch to me talking about how great it is. You look like you're ready to say something, Lewis, but you're not quite sure you want to commit to saying it.
Well, I don't want to, mess up the modulation.
Oh, you're just going full on blink mode here, so I thought maybe. Yeah, you're blinking a lot. All right, all.
Did modulate.
Modulate this, please.
For now.
All right, all. We'll see y'all next week. I'm hovering towards the end stream button as we speak. That's it. That's all we got.
Bum, bum.
That was nice. You should do that next week too.
You know what we didn't even do? We didn't even mention the name of the event.